Thinking Beyond the Box with your regular Gabby. To interest you to know that that's been very informative and exciting, especially after the last session just took by. I really liked his outro, which he said, your tribe determines your thriving. It's very important to note that. I want to say Chika once more. But today we will also looking, because it's key also in that. Alright, welcome to another day, another show, Thinking Beyond the Box with Gabby. And like I said, I would like to appreciate the last interview session where Chika took up an outro. He said, your training determines your thriving. It's important to know that it's what you have on the inside you can always give. But today, on today's show, we will be looking directly at reinventing yourself, because it's important to know that if you don't understand what your product life cycle or your life cycle, or that everything in existence has a cycle, you will not be able to know when to make those changes or invention. Now, reinventing is, of course, is a word, two words put together. The re is a prefix to inventing, and inventing means creating something. Being creative in nature. Starting up a business can be creative. You can be creative in nature. Even starting up a relationship is, creating something. Then once you bring the word re, means you are recreating, you are reinventing, you are making a drastic change. So really, in essence, what we're talking about today is to look at how to reinvent yourself. And like what we're going through in this era, we're now moving gradually into what we call the post-pandemic era, and for sure, life as we know it before will not be the same. The way we know how to do business, a lot of things would have to shift. If you are still insistent on doing business or doing things the same way before now, then you are going to be left behind. So there are certain things that we need to understand whilst moving forward in life, or while moving forward with our businesses. And one of it is what we're going to reinvent. Before I give you critical areas of reinventing yourself, I would like to look at areas where has given us cause for concern that we need to look into. What causes us to remain stagnant? Why do we need to reinvent? Reinvention means that we have come to a point where we cannot move forward. One, we have come to a point where things are not moving as we expect. We have come to the point where we are in a lockdown, if you allow me to use that word. Lockdown in life, lockdown in business, lockdown in our resources. There are so many things that we need to reinvent. Even as a nation, we notice that the system, from government, from every aspect, there is a call for restructuring, we change, we this, we that, all of that. It just shows that we all as a people need to reinvent. But reinvention doesn't just begin from the top. It begins from the individual, from us. We have to look inwards. And what causes reinvention? When there's a time, for example, for a relationship, you're in a relationship and you don't seem to know the headway. Initially, it was all wonderful, it was all fantastic. Whether it's emotional relationship, business relationship, financial relationship, whatever relationship it is. Initially, when you started it, it was let's just be going, let's just be moving on without the major goal. We're just enjoying the euphoria of doing things, of being available. But after a while, you begin to ask yourself, is this where I want to be? That is why one of the things that you need to have on the backdrop once you want to venture into anything is to set a goal. Once you set the goal, and if you're not hitting that goal, you're not achieving it, then you begin to look back. You have to review to say, this area or that area is where I want to make a change. Simply put, reinventing yourself is actually just making changes in your life, making changes in that business, making changes in the approach, making changes in your relationship with one another internally, making changes with your relationship with your customers or your clients, as the case may be. Some approach needs to be upgraded, updated, some need to be left behind. All of this is about reinventing. What causes men to not to even reinvent themselves? Two words. I want to put it up. Sum together for me is two words: fear and doubt. Fear is the enemy of reinventing. Many of us are afraid to take a new step. Many of us are afraid to step out, to try new ideas, to try new feedbacks. Many of us are afraid to try new opportunities. We are afraid not to lose what we've already gathered, not to lose what we've already holding on to. But once there is fear, then you cannot reinvent. Another dimension to this is doubt. Doubt is doubting your ability. Having doubt in yourself, having doubt if this would work. Having the fear, the discouragement on the inside already. You can see the opportunities, but you don't want to start. Most times you wait for others to go ahead, to venture out, let them make the mistakes. You always want other people to make the mistakes so that you can now come following. And once they get ahead and maybe they make successes, everybody now runs into that market. Then you hear people say, that was my idea, I thought about it initially, but you know what, I was afraid, I had doubts, I was not sure. So doubts and fear are the key components that causes one not to reinvent himself. What is the characteristic of fear in this aspect? When fear comes in different dimensions. Fear of being rejected, fear of failure. That's the first thing. The first fear is the fear of failure, really. Whether it's going to make it, whether it's going to get to that point that I want it to be, whether it's even going to stay. So already, if you already have a negative attitude towards the business you are venturing to, towards the relationship you want to take up, towards that new job, towards leaving the old job for a new job, or leaving another opportunity for a new level, if you don't let go of one, there can't be an entrance to the other. So that fear has to, leave you if you must reinvent yourself. You must also remove that thing called the doubt. Doubt is one instrument, an element in all of this that we also need to waver out. Now, it's good to have to weigh your pros. It's good to evaluate your risk. It's not because we're saying you should remove doubt, then you just venture in blindly. You just jump in without asking certain questions. Of course, we'll deal with that as we begin to close on reinventing yourself, because we look at that. There's another issue that we need to look at when it comes to this reinventing. Why people don't want to reinvent themselves. The issue of helplessness. You always hear people say, I can't, it won't, I've tried it before, it won't be possible, I can't make it, there is no possibility. I had a scenario recently, and I asked for honey, asked one of my helps, somebody stayed with me, and asked, I said, do you know what, get me honey from the fridge. And she goes there, looks in the fridge, without scrutinizing the fridge, looks into the refrigerator and says, there is no honey. But I was sure there was honey there because I kept it there. And because she said so, and because she's not willing to push forward, I called another person to go to that same fridge and bring me the honey. And the person went there and brought the honey out. So what was the problem? The problem with this other person was that she has told herself that if she doesn't see it right in front at the first glance, then the miss is not there. But the idea is that to reinvent, to make a difference, you must be willing to search. You must be willing to push forward. You must be willing to go the extra miles, to pay the extra price, to dedicate some time, to be committed, to concentrate on whatever you are doing. So because people always feel helpless, already they have this self-defeat, it begins to show in their everyday life. Another area that makes people not to reinvent is because they spend majority of their time depending on others, always looking out for other people's opinion, what others think, what others feel, how would they say, what would they say about me, do you know who I am, do you know how people perceive me out there? And because of that, you don't want to cry out for help, you don't want to call for assistance, you don't want to reinvent yourself in that area. But and once you begin to understand that it is important as a human being to reinvent, to make a change, take a drastic step, that it's all about you and the goals that you set. Some don't even believe in some of the goals that they set. Now, quickly, how do we begin to reinvent ourselves? First, remove every aspect of fear. Fear is an acronym for us. Is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. So what do? Remove that falsehood and have courage. What removes fear or doubt instantly is courage and boldness. Never be afraid to make mistakes. Never be afraid to make mistakes. Let me say it again. Failures are actually good. Failures are not really bad, because once you fail, you try something and you fail, all you know, you've learned how not to do some things the wrong way. Never beat yourself too hard for trying and failing. Always keep trying. You fail, pick yourself up and rise again. There's a popular saying that says, he that is down need fear no fall. Once you're already down, there's no other place to look than up. So you have to reinvent yourself. They have to make some drastic changes. Some people say, I've spent so much time, I've spent a lifetime, I've spent 10 years, 15 years in a particular system. I can't turn my back right now. I can't go. The system is frustrating me. I'm not happy about the system. But if I look at all the years I've put in, my dear, all those years you have put in, you're going to put in more wasted years if you keep staying there, if you don't reinvent yourself. It is time to pick yourself up and begin to make a change. I'll use some for those of us who are in the Nigerian environment. We know people like tele broadcasters like John Momo. These guys used to work in the television house, and after a while they told themselves it is time to reinvent. They could have stayed and waited to become the DJs, become directors, whatever it is, but they said no, it is time to take a switch. And these guys just crossed over, and many other people in different directions. We've heard the stories of the Bill Gates, some of these guys who just say, you know what, I have to reinvent. I can't follow this train, I can't stay on this pattern, I can't resume this pattern, I have to move. Some people right now, being this pandemic era, you really have to take that bold step. Just see those number of years invested in working somewhere on doing that particular business that didn't thrive, because you are just looking at how much you spent. You were willing to stay on because of how much you spent when you know you're not getting the required result. It is time to reinvent yourself. It is time to take that bold step, to switch. I've seen many people who switch and they're doing very well. I've seen somebody who has switched from being an educator. She has switched into selling rice, and my God, as I speak right now, she's already on one of the the online marketing platforms. She's already registered with them, and she's moving this product in and outside the state. She's doing very well. This is somebody who felt I was trained as an educator. This is where I spent my life. This is where I spent the last 15 years of my life. But just in 2 years, she switched into the agro business, and she has recovered all that she lost all these years. Somebody needs to take a bold step to reinvent himself in that relationship. Stop saying that you've been in a relationship, you invested 7 years, 6 years. I've seen relationships that stayed 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, and they got married, and in 3 months they're already divorced. So don't say because you have spent all that energy, all that time, you must stay there. It is time to reinvent yourself. Reinvent yourself in your environment, in your place of work. Don't come and say, this is how we've been doing it all this while. You've been doing it all this while, and you keep complaining there's no result. You need to reinvent. You need to change how you think, change how you do things, change how you relate. Also, I want to say this quickly before my time is up, is that another way is to also reinvent how you relate with people, really. Because everything boils down to people. Whatever it is, your success is dependent on people. They say it this way: somebody will bring you in to this world, somebody will teach you, somebody will train you, somebody will give you support, somebody will lift you, and when you die, somebody will still bury you. So you need people all the way for you to exist, for you to survive. You need people. So you need to reinvent how you relate with people. You need to reinvent how you relate in your businesses. You need to reinvent how you build, the structures around you. While you keep doing this, you notice that you will build courage, you build tenacity, and you build boldness. Till I come your way, same time tomorrow, it is Gabi, and this is Thinking Box, and I want you to keep thinking box. God bless you.